Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about how anxiety and depression are created, how I created them in my own life, and how through understanding how they're created and taking a bigger, more impersonal perspective of depression and anxiety, how we can more easily heal ourselves and come to an understanding of what a state of inner balance really is. The best way to shift your frame so that you can begin to heal and come out of depression is to see it from a bigger perspective, is to kind of zoom out from being immersed fully in the depression and like it's happening to me, why me, kind of that victim mindset, and to expand out and to see it from a bigger perspective. This is what really helped propel me out of my deepest, darkest days, was to just empower myself, to give myself permission to see it from an impersonal standpoint. That's huge, is to not take it so personally. And when we can do that, we can start to open up to the truth of what's going on and we can start to heal. And the biggest shift in perspective for me that helped me heal was to see that everything is just energy. Everything is energy. When we can see the world and ourselves as just energy, we can begin to simplify the process of healing. We don't bring in all these, I remember when I was super depressed and at my worst, I was online every day. I was creating all kinds of reasons as to why I was depressed. I was figuring out how I was depressed. I was blaming it on my circumstances, my situation, mistakes, my genetics, family lineage, drugs. I had all these reasons, and it was really just dragging me further and further down. But when I gave myself the permission to just really simplify and then impersonalize my perspective of what was going on, that's when things really changed. So when I saw things as everything is just energy, I realized that energy always moves towards balance if left undisturbed. That's just a law of energy. It's always going to move towards balance. And if we could imprint that same philosophy on ourselves, because we are in essence just energy as well, I realized that if energy just moves towards balance naturally, and that if I'm just energy, that if I would just let go, that I would move towards that same balance. And it also helped me realize how my depression got created, because to understand the mechanics, the mechanism of, letting go and the art of surrender, it helps for the mind to comprehend how an imbalance was brought about in the first place. And that's what I really want to try to, help you guys understand if you're going through depression. I want you to understand how it gets created in the first place. And it's simply by clinging to too much of the light or too much of the dark. For me, I was so consumed with wanting to feel good, wanting to feel peace, love, joy, happiness, these lighter emotions, that I started suppressing and I started trying to escape my darker feelings and darker emotions. And what this did for me is it created a massive imbalance where I was always chasing the high, chasing the light, and trying to suppress the dark. So my being just became more and more filled with this dark energy that I wasn't allowing to come up to integrate. And as it was building and building, I was more and more trying to escape it. So it just kept exacerbating the already accumulating imbalance. And that's a big thing for a lot of us who are depressed or have anxiety issues, is we tend to be the ones who want to cling to the lighter energies of life. We don't really want to face the darkness within. And that can send us on this path of imbalance that can manifest in all types of symptoms, such as panic attacks, general anxiety disorder, agoraphobia, severe depression, because what's happening is all this darker energy is just building up, and it's weighing our being down, and our energy starts to just be just to starts getting really unnaturally low. And every time we feel this dark energy come up, we're afraid of it, so we feel massive amounts of fear, and we try to suppress it or escape it. And that's what will happen is we'll have too much of it, and it will manifest in some form of an event or an attack, a panic attack, an anxiety attack. So it's so important to know how the imbalance gets created so we can truly understand how to bring back in an integrated, holistic healing. And what that means is if you cling too much to light, or conversely, some people, and I'll talk about this in more detail in other videos, some people conversely cling to too much dark energy, we're going to, at some point, find ourselves in an imbalance. And this imbalance keeps refueling itself and perpetuating itself and getting worse and worse and worse until we reach a breaking point where we want to bring in a more balanced perspective, such as everything is energy, and if I will just allow the energy to have its natural movement, which means allowing the darkness to come up, allowing myself to feel the darker emotions so that they can reintegrate into my being, and that my being can become a vessel that is more balanced, we can really start to take a proactive and empowered approach towards healing from any type of imbalanced symptoms such as depression, anxiety, sadness, grief, anger. It doesn't really matter. And here's the best part. When we allow those, if you're like me and you cling to the light energy, when we allow the darkness to come up, we start feeling its power, because the darkness is our power. If we're the type of person who clings to the light, a lot of times we're going to feel meekness. We're going to feel neediness. If you're the type of person who's feeling very needy and like you need the validation of others, and maybe people walk all over you and you don't speak your truth and you have no energy for the things you want to do because you're actually afraid to do the things you want to do. If you go through life with a lot of fear, if you go through life with a lot of anxiety, chances are you're clinging so much to the light energy that you're not allowing a balance to restore inside of you. And life, everything in life is about a balance. That you need for you to have yin, you need yang. For you to have light, for you to know what love and peace and joy feel like, you need to know what darkness feels like. You can't have one without the other. And that's why it's so imperative for you to reach this bigger understanding of life, so that you can allow your part, life is like a big ocean, and you're one of the streams running out from the ocean, and you need to allow the wisdom of the ocean to infiltrate your stream. You can't try to resist life and live in a balanced way. And what I mean by resisting life is resisting the darker emotions within you. Because if you're just wanting to feel the light energy and you're resisting the dark, you're actually resisting how life works. Because life has dark and light energy. And your only job, your only mission to heal from depression is to allow all of the energy of life to flow through you openly, without needing to cling to one or the other. And like I said in another video, if you're struggling or you find yourself clinging to the dark energy, I'll talk about the specific mechanics of how that might feel and what your experience of life will be like. I can't talk about that as personally or as intimately because it's not something that I've experienced. I've always been someone who felt like they needed that light energy. I've always had tendencies of neediness and meekness and not speaking my truth and not stepping into my power and owning my authenticity. I've always been kind of shown sheep-like behavior when it comes to needing the approvals for others, so I will be kind of a chameleon and blend to what I think others want to see from me so I can get their validation. It wasn't until I started coming into the understanding that everything is just energy and that dark and light energy are both of equal value, of equal necessity, that I started really owning my individuality and my, just my inner power, my inner strength to have the courage to be who I really am, to express from a place of uniqueness and authenticity. And when we start allowing the darkness to come up and we start embracing it, and not just allowing it because I want to release it and get rid of it, but embracing that dark energy that's causing our depression, that's causing our anxiety, that's when things can really start to change. And when we can really start to develop this inner sense of fearlessness, because once we can face all this dark energy that's building up inside of us that we've tried to suppress our whole lives, once we show ourselves that we have the courage to do that, then anything out here, the edge is just taken off. I know if you're going through like a severe form of anxiety or depression, everything out here seems scary. I remember I used to have these crazy paranoid thoughts and feelings that the whole world was after me. And I used to have these dark, obsessive, compulsive thoughts about why my life was such a mess. And I never just allowed all that energy to come through and to provide me the fearlessness and the openness. That's what it really takes, guys. It takes this fearless openness to this energy. And once you do that, you're going to be transformed into someone who really doesn't have outer fears anymore, because you've faced all the outer fears. All your external fears are just reflections of you not wanting to face your internal fears. That's all an external fear is. And when we can face these internal fears, these internal dark energies, and we can just let them come up, you're going to see a more balanced and less fearful external reality. It's just as simple as that. It's extremely hard at first to let it up, but once you start doing it, once you start tasting the strength and the power that comes with it, you're going to fall in love with this process, and you're going to automatically come to a balance, because you realize that energy just flows to a natural state of balance if we don't resist or suppress it. If we just let energy move and we just allow ourselves to feel the feelings we don't want to feel, we're going to automatically come to this integrated state of balance. And that's what I really wanted to get through today to you guys who are going through some severe depression and anxiety issues, is that let's take a bigger perspective and just take an impersonal perspective and see the situation for what it is. It is just an energetic imbalance, and that there's nothing special that needs to be done except for you to just surrender and let go. And let's learn the mechanism of it. I talk about it a lot in my videos, and I feel like it's the one thing that changed my entire life, and I feel like can really, and it will change your life if we can internalize it and make it an internal movement within. Then everything, our whole entire lives can shift. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope that you embrace this, and I hope that you at least try it and see for yourselves if it can make a difference. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if this type of movement and this type of philosophy is resonating with you, or if you feel like you're missing something. I would love to hear about that. So I just want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I hope you guys have a great day.